As you leave the national park and head into downtown Gatlinburg, you're overwhelmed with signs beckoning you to stop, shop, and of course dine. Now, it's especially fun to discover places off the beaten path you wouldn't know about unless somebody told you. Well, Kip Kirby is going to tell you about one she found and take you there for a visit.
With so much to see and do here in Gatlinburg, it's not going to be long before you're going to start thinking about food. I know just breathing this mountain air is making me hungry. Well, there's a lot of places you can eat along the main drag, but if you talk to the locals, they're going to tell you about a little place called the Greenbrier. It's not the easiest place to find, and they just serve dinner. But believe me, once you're here, it's a unique dining experience.
Enjoy your dinner.
It's a California one. It's a good one.
It's another busy night at the Greenbrier restaurant. Like a well-oiled machine, everything's moving smoothly.
How would you like it cooked?
And that's because of its owners, Dave and Becky Haddon. They just bought the Greenbrier in June, but they've been managing it for the past 9 years.
The restaurant's been in my family since 1980. I came here as 14 years old, never worked a bit in my life. My dad taught me how to wash dishes. He taught me how to make salads and eventually taught me how to cook. And when Mom said this spring she wanted to retire, wanted to move to North Carolina and be closer to my sister, she said, "Would you like to buy the restaurant?" I said, "Mom, I'd love to buy the restaurant."
The comedy actor.
He's so good.
And since they took over, Dave and Becky have changed nothing. They know what keeps customers coming back.
Consistency. We have 26 items on our menu, and every Friday night, I know who's coming in the dining room, the locals, just by looking at the tickets in the kitchen. They come in and they have the same thing. And I say Doug Huffaker is a perfect example. Comes in every Friday night with his family. Doug and his wife have lightly blackened tilapia. And I say, "Doug, we've got walleye tonight. Why don't you try the walleye?" He said, "Dave, that tilapia is always so good." So I think consistency, you know, the prime rib is always the same. Everything is always the same. We don't have a huge kitchen like a lot of places. We don't have 10 people in the kitchen. We have 3 cooks, and I'm one of them. If you order it medium rare this time, next time you come in and order it medium rare, it's going to be the same. And I think people really appreciate that. And that's why we have a huge clientele of locals, of people who don't live here, but when they do come to Gatlinburg, they eat here at least one night during their trip.
It's been like that around the Greenbrier since Dave can remember. Of course, it's gone through some changes since his parents, Dean and Barbara Haddon, first bought it 20 years ago.
It's very much dilapidated. It's very old. It was, when I came up here, I was only 14, but I thought, my God, what have my parents done? You know, and with a little bit of work here and a little bit of work there and putting some money back into the building, it's turned out to be one of the prettiest places in town.
Dine at the Greenbrier, and you're likely to sample some of the mouth-watering recipes handed down from Dave's father.
All the soups, we make all our soups homemade, all our salad dressings, those are all his recipes. We follow them to a T. The desserts, his recipes, everything. You know, and my dad was never one to write anything down. You know, it's like, "Dad, you got a recipe for that?" I said, "Sure do, right here." Well, luckily I found a lot of his recipes that he did write down, but he always left something out. In case anybody ever got them, he was particular like this. Anybody ever got a hold of this recipe? There was something missing.
And it's not going to be quite right, so they have to come back up here and get it.
Exactly.
The Greenbrier isn't the biggest restaurant in Gatlinburg. It only seats 74 people. The kitchen's not real large. The staff pretty much stays the same every year. Becky wears many hats. Occasionally, she'll even pick up a tray to help out.
I've got enough garlic on there for you.
That black is great.
It's delicious.
Thank you. The locals and the people that come once a year, you know, that, like I said, back to appreciating seeing the same face. And I remember what they drink. I don't remember their names most of the time, but I remember what they drank if I hadn't seen them in a year, and it just tickles them to death, you know, and it makes me feel good.
And doing what we do, and when someone takes the time to say thank you, that, you know, they don't have to, but that's when you say, okay, now I know why I worked 12 hours today, you know, and we're only open for dinner. Now I know why I did this. And that's what makes it all worthwhile.